let's just say your son was a highly touted recruit from three major schools, and it seemed like he was leaning more towards Michigan than anybody else. And he says, all right, January 29th, I'm announcing my date. And then he decides to go to Ohio State.
Oh! Shot to the heart, and you're to blame.
Today is the day where we decide, where Kingston Viliamu Asa decides where he's going.
I can't wait until this kid commits so that he can stop saying his name.
It's just a name that's so like, it's very, it's a very strong name.
Needs to drop the Viliamu and just go by King Asa.
Maybe sometimes he will. You never know.
That shit is hard.
That is hard.
King Asa.
That is very.
But
yeah.
His actual version, boy, they gon' Giannis Antetokounmpo. They're going to butcher it every Saturday.
Yeah, well,
for sure.
We'll see. They already do that for JT.
Homeboy on Buckeye Fever is going to have a stroke trying to say that name.
Yeah, no.
Kingston
I think we gotten to a point where Gus and Joel Klatt can say Tuamalau, but like some of them, I feel like still can't really say it.
JT Tuamabobo.
That's crazy.
That's how they be. Like, it's like if it looks complicated, they lose the ability to use phonetics to kind of work through the word, and they just try to jumble it all together. It's like I don't want to embarrass myself by trying, so I'll disrespect somebody. Yeah,
that's absolutely wild.
I'll just embarrass somebody by butchering their name.
But we'll get into names here momentarily.
Jesus.
We better get Aaron Scott right after that. So, back-to-back booms, 2 weeks in a row.
Maybe.
You don't think so?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
He did just post a picture with an Oregon Duck shirt.
Yeah, and he had an Oregon sleeve on at a 7-on-7 a week after he had on Michigan
Go
cleats.
Blue shoes on.
Yeah, so whatever.
He is enjoying all of this a little too much.
Sure.
But you know what?
I still feel like
recruiting for these kids.
If it was always Ohio State, it'd have been Ohio State. Ohio State's been leading on the recruiting prediction machine the whole way, right? It's always been Ohio State. And then everything he's saying and doing seems like he's trolling the other teams. Yeah. If it was that easy, I feel like this decision would have already been made. There would have been no reason to delay.
Other than it being his father's birthday. Nice little gift. He's an 18-year-old kid, so he doesn't have any money to give his father a gift.
Horseshit.
So he does this as a gift.
So he's never bought his dad a birthday gift.
Kidding.
I'm about to say. Yeah, no. I don't.
What better gift than to give your father this?
Father than an Ohio State commitment?
But, yeah,
okay. So then, is everything he's showing you about how he's treating the process that he's very thoughtful, or that he would want to ultimately troll somebody in an epic way? You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't seem so clear cut to me. Like, oh yeah, that conventional wisdom with this kid doesn't work, right? And maybe that's what he's trying to tell us with all these antics. Like, stop thinking that you know what's going on, kind of thing.
Could be. Let me ask you this: if your son. Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? Because yours is a little bit different, because yours wouldn't really fall into a recruitment commitment date, because your birthday's in January.
But let's just say to signing day.
Let's just say your son was a highly touted recruit from three major schools, and it seemed like he was leaning more towards Michigan than anybody else. And he says, "All right, January 29th, I'm announcing my date." And then he decides to go to Ohio State.
Oh! Shot to the heart, and you're to blame. No, that would be a killer. But the thing is, though, you have to think, I would already know. There's no way he's dropping the commitment to his parents on that day. Like they know what he's thinking. They know more than anyone where he's leaning and where he wants.
So
to
what
go.
if he doesn't really tell y'all? It kind of leaves y'all up in the air a little bit between maybe two schools. Maybe he has two firm schools, but then like he's letting everybody else know it's three. And then for your gift, he's like, "Oh yeah, it's just two." So you'll have to find out just like everybody else does. And then on that last day,
but that's just not very common that the parents don't know.
Yeah,
like because you've seen it where the parents get fucking upset and storm off the damn stage and shit. Yeah, and that's just a terrible situation.
That is,
and especially if you're going to make the type of move that I'm suggesting he may make, you definitely you don't want him to find that out in front of everybody.
Sure, no, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something beyond his dad just being a Ohio State fan that's a little bit more crucial to his recruitment and his career as a player, and that's scheme fit. And that's the only tale that I've heard out of the Aaron Scott camp about where he's leaning and why. Right? The only hint that I've gotten is that he felt like the scheme at Michigan, the only reason why I'm saying this because I heard it out of his mouth, was a little bit better than Ohio State's. Other than that, he hasn't given an edge for any other team.
Right.
Hasn't said anything to the detriment or to the favor of any team. Everybody else, it's all been good. I'm enjoying the process. We'll decide.
Yeah.
But that is the only football thing that I heard him say, which is honestly why I think we're still in it. Not to mention, homeboy coming to the barbecue. So 2 days before you commit, you're coming to the barbecue at the big house.
That's just because he thinks Sharon Moore and Mike Hart give off Unk vibes.
Yeah, that sounds great.
He came through to get a plate.
That sounds great, except he's going to be there with, most of the commits from the 2024 class. He's going to be there with a 2025 prospect, number one player in the country. David Sanders is going to be there. Couldn't get Bryce Underwood there with David Sanders. I guess he has some bullshitting to do in Alabama.
I mean, being the number one quarterback, he's got
he's got a busy schedule, and he's been to Michigan like a million times. He's from Belleville.
It's right there.
He's there. Yeah, we're not worried, at least not yet. But yeah, man, a lot of good players. Zaquan Patterson, another high end player, 4-star safety. We're in a battle with Miami for him. I would really love to kick Miami's ass in that recruitment. I really would, because I mean, just honestly, why would you go to Miami? Like, not just why would you go to Miami over Michigan, but why would you go to Miami to play football?
The bag and to be in Miami as an 18-year-old.
Yeah, man. These come get the bag schools, they're not going to have coaches.
Oh, no,
they're not going to have coaches pretty soon.
That's a fact.
Like, they're going to be coach shopping pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because one thing they're not going to do is keep paying a guy $10, $12 million a year to put up losing records.
Paying the coach 10, 12, and then paying the players on top of that.
Yeah, now you keep talking about year over year. Oh, the buyout. The buyout gets lower, people. There is a point where that buyout takes a precipitous drop.
Yeah.
And don't think that they're just going to survive that because, maybe they don't want to pay the $20 million. No, they'll pay the 20. They want to pay 60? Probably not. Will they pay 35? How bad are we?
Let's move on to the fact that your boy Taylor Tatum didn't make his way up to Michigan. He well, it was really between USC and Oklahoma.
Yeah, we were out of that as soon as we signed Kyle Pana.
Yeah. He chose Oklahoma,
which is really interesting until I looked up and seen who Oklahoma's running back coach was.
DeMarco
Murray.
And
it made all the sense. It made all the sense in the world. I was like, okay. That
NFL running back?
Killer recruitment for sure.
Yeah, so that wasn't that crazy, but them going into the SEC, it's going to be interesting to see if they can, especially off of the year they had last year. It's going to be interesting to see what they can possibly do.
Yeah, that doesn't give me very much confidence in what their season is going to look like. Well, obviously he's a 2024, but I mean, if Venables is still the coach there by the time he gets there, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It wasn't pretty last year. We'll see what happens this year. I know they're not favored to win the Big 12, and then the year after they're going to the SEC. So,
yeah, And I feel like there's too many teams in the SEC going into a year where there's going to be a 12-team playoff as well. You're kind of in a rough place.
I mean, put it to you like this: if there was a 12-team playoff last year, Oklahoma wouldn't have made it.
Yeah. Helen, I don't even think there's a good. Well, no. Based off of last year, you're not the better of the two teams that are going to the SEC in Texas.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think either one of them can claim to be better than the other. Like, if you're in that rivalry, of course it's going to go back and forth, right? But, like, neither one of you are winning your conference, which is nuts.
Yeah, Texas is not winning.
Oklahoma and Texas, y'all leaving the Big 12 and you're not winning it. Like, it's slightly embarrassing for USC, but they were down.
Oh, the Big 12. We're talking about winning the Big 12.
Yeah, winning the Big 12 conference. It's slightly embarrassing for USC to be leaving the conference and not winning it. But then they've been down, right? They've been bad. But Texas is always back. Oklahoma had Garrett Riley.
USC has a Heisman finalist.
Yeah,
so at least they've experienced some.
I'm saying, like, they have all these talented players, these high-profile coaches. They're the class of the Big 12, and we're not getting what we're supposed to, so we're going to leave and go to the SEC. And you, since that announcement, have not came within a stone's throw of winning the Big 12.
Texas might win the Big 12.
Fam, I will believe it when I see it.
Maybe.
I'll believe it when I see it.
It's not going to be TCU again.
I don't know who the fuck it's going to be. It wasn't TCU last year. It was Kansas State.
Oh, you're right. Damn. Okay.
It's Kansas State.
Does Kansas State still have Martinez? Martinez was already a 6-year quarterback.
Yeah, no, probably.
Adrian Martinez, because he was with Nebraska. No, he plays for the Lions now.
He got drafted?
He was undrafted.
He probably shook out there, not just because of DeMarco Murray, but you look at all the spots who were looking to take him, and they got guys. He kind of, weighted himself out into choosing Oklahoma, kind of. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ohio State got James Peoples. Mm-hmm. Michigan already had Jordan Marshall and then went and got Capana. USC, I believe, got a running back. So it's just like, well, I guess I'm going to Oklahoma.
Really fit.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to Oklahoma. To be the guy, be AP, be DeMarco Murray.
Oh, well. You wanted to discuss Gatlin Bear and Ryan Wingo.
Yeah.
Now, Gatlin Bear is very, very, very interesting to me because he's in this class, but he's taking a 2-year sabbatical, 2-year mission trip.
Which is something that Michigan is already well experienced with.
Which I did not know.
If you remember the name Zach Gentry, tight end for Michigan, his little brother actually came the year after him and took a 2-year mission that he just returned from. All right, and I believe it was him and Colston Loveland that were there on the visit for because Idaho connection.
That's
Colston Loveland was the #1 player in Idaho when he was getting recruited.
Isn't Gatlin Bear from Idaho?
From Idaho, yeah.
What is happening?
That's the link up. Yeah. Yeah. Michigan's ahead on the recruiting machine right now.
Why don't y'all go to Boise State?
So, oddly enough, that seems to be the main competition is Boise State. which is funny, but I mean, hometown thing. We just lost Jordan Shipp to North Carolina.
Yeah.
So, it's, the hometown guy that's got some, it's clearly got some threads, right? Springfield.
Yeah.
So,
well, we got Keen Holtz from one of the Dakotas, so I guess.
I don't think that they're really looking at it like, damn, maybe we can try to convince them not to go or anything like that. I think they're comfortable enough with him coming back. It'll be the start of the 2026 season.
If anything, that seems like a thing that Harbaugh is like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's so uber religious. So
there's that with Gatlin Bear. Oh, just wanted to remind everybody that Gatlin Bear beat Nicholas Harbor in the 100-yard dash.
That's so petty.
This past spring. I just wanted everybody to know that because, Nick is so focused on track.
Yikes.
Anyways,
Ryan
Wingo. Well, surprisingly, we're still in on Ryan Wingo. It's very surprising. I didn't think that those early visits that he took to Michigan meant a whole lot. Thought it was more so of like a show of respect to Ron Bellamy, and let's keep it pushing to Georgia. but his leader has changed several times. But Michigan stayed in the hunt, right? Got an official visit. He's gone from Notre Dame to Georgia, and now there's some Tennessee buzz. So that tells me he's not very settled.
He's not settled. Apparently, his commitment date is December 20th.
Yeah. So we have such a long runway with this kid, and he's already been to Michigan, I think, 3 times.
I think your biggest thing would be to succeed and then...
Yeah. Have another great season. Get him back out there for a game. Maybe. Well, no, we can't do the Ohio State game. Yes, we can. Bring him to the Ohio State game.
Don't do that.
Yes. Yes.
Don't do that.
Bring him to the Ohio State game. That would be perfect. Ohio State game.
He'll see Heartline, and then he'll be like, "Oh my gosh, maybe I should go there."
Well,
especially since they just beat us in the big house.
If you're not, well, first of all, he's not Cam. He's not Cam Calhoun. Secondly, if you're not already in on Ryan Wingo by now, where's that going to come from? Plus, y'all got receivers.
No, we've already got 2 5-star receivers. What's another one?
Lock up Jeremiah Smith and make sure he's not going nowhere.
He's not going anywhere. Okay. He's just a bigger troll than
Aaron Scott.
So it's a perfect fit. Why don't they just both?
Because Aaron Scott wants to be a villain.
So does Jeremiah Smith.
He wants to be the villain.
So does Jeremiah Smith.
Well, you don't be the villain by going where everybody thinks you're going to go.
Sure, but he's everybody else's villain.
He won't be a villain in Michigan.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, because Aaron Scott's doing it between rivals.
Yeah.
Whereas Jeremiah Smith went down south. So that's where he's from, though. Anyway, so Ryan Day made a remark that wasn't even that big, but everybody wants to make it into this huge thing about a major college rule change about the hash marks.
Fam, individually, no, it's not a big statement. Collectively, with all of the statements we've heard from Ryan and his players, it's giving off like this is y'all's mentality. This is how y'all play. It's really
not. If any other coach would have said this, it would have been like, oh.
But any other coach doesn't complain about shit like this. The hash marks on the field,
complaining all like that.
The hashes are too wide in college football. Okay. So let me get this straight. The guy running the wide open basketball on grass offense, right, has to be forced to run the ball. Like, has to lose to Michigan twice before he reevaluates, get some guys in there to rework the offensive line and run the ball the way they're supposed to. That guy wants shorter spaces in between the hashes. Well, that does what to your spacing, Josh?
It limits it.
Oh. So it doesn't even make sense. Like, it doesn't even read for what he likes to do on the field. Not to mention, this is just yet another, like, belly-aching complaint coming out of an Ohio State either coach or player. And it's just like, yo, what is happening in Columbus that the fucking hashes is something that now the coach want? We should have shorter hashes in the college
if
football.
If Saban said this, it wouldn't even be a headline.
Except Saban doesn't say shit like this.
Saban does complain a lot, though.
But he complains about the off-the-field shit. He's not complaining about football shit. He's not saying, "Oh, I hate that the goalposts are fucking yellow. It distracts the kickers. We should make them white so it can soothe the kickers as they're kicking."
Literally never said that.
Yeah, and he would never say anything like that because it's fucking ridiculous.
I'm saying Ryan Day has never said anything like that.
No. How? What is the difference? The hashes are too wide? Are you serious? So for the last 150 years we've been playing college football, the hash has been what they are. But Ryan Day doesn't like them, so we should change it.
I feel like this is one of those things out of an article that, like, typically wouldn't have even been read, but then because it's Ryan Day, it's a headline.
You mean like, hey, I wish if there was one thing I could change about the NFL, we would all play in domes. Every NFL team would have a dome like that. That's the kind of statement that this smells like. Oh, if I could do anything in the NFL, I just wish we could play in domes. Every NFL team could play in domes.
It's just Ohio State hate. That's all it is.
No, okay. That's not. I'm not making this up. They're saying it. They're saying it out of their mouths. They're freely offering
I'm not saying
this
you're
information.
hating specifically. You reacting this way, normal. I get it. I totally get it. It becoming a headline in the first fucking place is hate.
Fam.
That's hate.
It's a truly like very juvenile thing to complain about. It really is.
But anything he says anything about is going to become a headline at this point.
I don't think so.
If he says any little small thing, it's going to be.
That's not true. But I do think people on both sides of this rivalry expect a certain amount of like backbone and fervor, and the things that are coming out of Day and his quarterback are not very tough.
Well, I'll give you this. This should not be a headline the same way that what Franklin said about y'all's locker room is a headline. It should not be equal. That's not equal.
What do you say about our? Oh. But it was a thing.
That was a thing.
We sat up there and watched this man complain in the in the post game over all of the sports networks that night, right?
That's what I'm saying.
It was a
that
thing.
should be a thing.
This is just the headline on an article online.
I just don't feel like these should be equal. I feel like there's two things. There's two things happening here. Ohio State hate, which causes a lot of engagement. And
now that's fair. I'll give you that.
Slow news season. It's off season, so it became bigger than.
But you know who knows about a slow off season and how quotes can turn into fire? You know who knows that all too well?
Ryan Day.
Okay, so there's no excuse. Stop making yourself and your team look soft by saying stupid shit.
Okay. All right.
Or don't. I'm cool with it. I'm just saying, like, I think there's some folks on your side that are quietly, like, every time they hear one of these things, because it's just not tough.
I just feel like I wouldn't be hearing these sorts of things if it wasn't for him being an Ohio State
you wouldn't
coach.
be hearing these type of things if you were continuing to pummel Michigan. These type of things.
That too.
This type of things were not things that Ohio State had to worry about 2-3 years ago.
That is fair. It's more of a kicking Ohio State.
Why they're down? Sure. Because I don't see any shortage of boots on our face when we was down.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that. Who do you think's going to win the SEC?
Georgia's the easy pick.
It is. I don't think they're winning it.
Georgia's the easy pick. I would like to see LSU take another step. Tennessee, I think, is going to take a step back. I think we're going to see a return of the Joe Milton that we know and love.
I like LSU. I don't know if I like Brian Kelly's LSU.
Well, I hate Brian Kelly, but they have a really good team. They
do.
Really good athletes on defense. Jane Daniels is coming back.
I like Jaden Daniels.
What's going on over there?
Tennessee's not going to do anything.
Wait, pause on Brian Kelly. I almost forgot this quote. They asked Brian Kelly about the Northwestern fiasco. Why are we asking SEC coaches about a Big Ten coach losing his job? Well, who fucking cares? Who knows? But maybe Brian Kelly has a little bit more connection to that because he was, playing Big Ten teams a lot of times when he was at Notre Dame.
Sure.
Man, this boy went on a whole virtue signal. Oh, to act like a coach didn't know, and then I tell you what, we do this with our players, and we do that with our players, and there's people in between us, and we know this, and we know that.
You're setting yourself up.
Hold on, man. No, not even setting himself up. No, there was definitely a prostitution scandal going on with his football players last season. Like, I know I'm not tripping. Yeah, no, one of their players got caught sneaking a prostitute into their team hotel, right? Did that happen? I think that happened. That definitely happened. That happened. Is that a culture thing, Brian? Did you know about it? Did you help him get her in? Because you're always with your players. There's so much overlay in between you and your players. There's no way that something's going on that you wouldn't know about. Right? So, did you help him get the prosty, or was the prosty for you?
Yeah, that's one of those things where you say too much shit like that, it's bound to come back on you.
Shut the fuck up.
Just don't say anything.
But, like, especially if it's over an issue that you've already, like, had. Like, Like, it's already out. People know about it. I'm surprised they weren't sitting there scratching their head watching this man talk.
Yeah.
But, again, we know what kind of disingenuous person Brian Kelly is. So, again, awful human being, but halfway decent football coach, and he has a good team. So, I think LSU is going to vie for it. Georgia's obviously the class of the league right now, and you got to go through them. But I think question marks at secondary and quarterback for me, like, I'm obviously not as high on them as PFF was.
Yeah. Okay, so here's how I look at it. The three teams would be Georgia, LSU, and Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I like LSU, so I'll keep them somewhere high. Alabama really has an issue with their quarterback, right? But outside of that,
if they can find one, and see, like, that's where I'm at with Georgia too. It's like, if Carson Beck is who people think he is, then cool. They'll be right where they've been at the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But with Alabama, it's like, okay, can you get one of these guys to go?
Yeah.
Can you get Ty Simpson? Can you get Jalen Milroe? Can you get what's Notre Dame transfer's name? Buckner. Tyler Buckner. Can one of those three guys be the guy?
Here's my separation between Alabama and Georgia is that Alabama will see multiple tests. Georgia will see no tests. Nothing. Just like how last year happened, and then they did see a couple tests. LSU had some room to grow. They saw a test, and it didn't fare well for them when it came down to it. Now, I'm surprised what happened with TCU, but they saw Ohio State, and it didn't look all that well for them. And Georgia also looked shook against teams like Missouri. And Kent State. Mm-hmm. Like, if that happens again, they don't have some of the players that they had last year.
Stetson Bennett at
You know what I mean? So, like
he got him out of some stuff late in the game versus Missouri. That drive late in the fourth quarter, that was all Stetson, man.
Yeah.
It was all Stetson.
Yep. So when you don't have that and your schedule is just as cupcake as it was last year.
Even the comeback versus Ohio State 2 times. Nope. Yeah, 2 times. They had a 14-point lead. That game has been on ESPNU for like the last 2 weeks straight.
Has it? That's
yeah.
funny.
So I've been rewatching it for a lot. But there was 2 opportunities that Ohio State had to put that game out of reach, and they just could not get a stop.
Sure.
Couldn't get a stop. That's Stetson Bennett.
And
man.
I'll credit that to the fact that Georgia was so good last year.
Yeah.
They don't have that same team this year. So then it's like, okay, what are y'all going to do this year that obvious players from last year brought you over the hump?
Now, they got a lot. They do have a lot coming back. But Alabama, also, you just know that the cupboards are stocked over there, too.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting a huge drop-off from certain positions, you know.
But Alabama's seeing multiple tests. They're seeing the LSU during the season. They're seeing Texas in non-conference play. Mm-hmm. So, like...
No, Alabama will be much more tested. I just don't know quarterback-wise if I'm that confident in what they got going on over there.
But if anybody's going to figure it out, Nick Saban.
Yeah.
So I like Alabama's
also,
chances.
they've got your homeboy from Notre Dame as the offensive coordinator down there. Fucking Tommy Rees. Tommy fucking Rees. So now with better talent, you know, better receivers, same quarterback, what can Tommy Rees do?
Yeah.
You know, how is he going to dial it up? Because it didn't look too great offensively for Notre Dame. I mean, you couldn't outscore Ohio State when they laid an egg and put up 21 points. Like, dog, that's a golden opportunity.
Yeah.
You can't outscore them when they only score 21. That's not great. That is not great.
Yep. So I'm going to be honest with you. Whoever wins the SEC is coming out of Alabama versus LSU.
Is Alabama on? Oh, Alabama, LSU. Okay.
Yeah, whoever wins, because they're going to see each other in a regular season. Mm-hmm. So whoever wins between those two will probably see Georgia in the SEC championship game and then move on from there. I don't have faith in Georgia this year specifically based off of everything I've seen last year and the players that they're not returning.
I mean, that would be unprecedented, man, for them to go 3 3 in a row.
That too. I think the pressure is too high for them to do that.
I mean, it is mounting, and then the Wolves are coming out for their program too.
Yeah.
Right. Every other week, there's some other scandal going on there, and let's just be honest. Like, the whole racing shit is a problem. Like, I really hate people downplaying that, because they fucking died.
Yeah.
Like, that shit is not. It's not something to just brush under the rug as like reporters trying to, That's not what I mean. The whole sexual assault shit that they drummed up over there, that reporter is fired, by the way. They fired him. But that was a witch hunt. Hey, you should stop your fucking players from racing down the street in their Hellcats because they're dying and they could kill people. Yeah, you should wrap that shit up quickly.
Yes.
Because the first time somebody's it already happened.
Yep.
Like, that should be enough for you to like get that shit under control. Yeah. Anything outside of that, you're gonna have to give me some proof.
Yeah. Okay. So we already talked about just funny names in general. Funny enough, 24/7 Sports just released an all-name team.
These niggas are fucking bored.
They have to be bored to make this list. But I looked at it and I thought it was kind of funny. So, for QB, General Booty from Oklahoma.
Fam.
Yes, his name is General Booty.
General Booty. He is a delight at parties. General Booty in the house. Tin Hut.
I don't think that's the craziest name here, though. There's some pretty crazy names. Running back from Colorado, is it Cavassier Smoke?
That's hard.
The way they spell Cavassier is crazy, but I think it's Cavassier Smoke.
Oh, they spelled it the way it sounds.
That's what it looks like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bless their heart.
Yikes. 2 receivers. We obviously already know the coldest to ever do it, Crawford.
That's hard.
And then the other wide receiver is Dorilus Clark. Crazy.
You named your son Dorilus?
That one actually has an apostrophe on it. And of course, they didn't spell it with an I. They spelled it with a Y. He Dorilus, though.
Oh, my God, man.
All right. Fullback.
Thank God these niggas are football players.
Right. Fullback, Fat Watts. And then Fat is spelled Phatt. Fat Watts.
I've heard of people being named Fat.
Have you?
Yeah. That's not as outlandish.
All right. Tight end, Rowdy Beers.
I've heard of a Rowdy Piper.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Rowdy was his nickname, and his name was Roddy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
All right. Offensive line, Parker Titsworth from Ohio. Jaden Muskrat. Panda Askew.
Panda Askew?
Panda Askew. His last name is Askew, but his first name is Panda. From UNLV. Yikes. From UNLV, Tiger Shanks.
Tiger Shanks.
And then the last one is Dodger Saucer.
Tiger Shanks?
Yes.
As in, like, he shanks a putt? Tiger, get it? Tiger Woods shanking a putt?
Oh, well,
Shanks?
yeah.
That's crazy.
I was thinking like Shanks, but.
Well, yeah, okay.
No, that makes sense. And then the kicker would be Colton Boomer.
Colton Boomer
I'm assuming
is the
you
most
can't.
normal name on this list.
Yes, it is.
He doesn't even belong here. Go away, Colton.
I think you have to find a kicker, and so in that you just got to find what you can out of that. Defensive lineman, we got Fish McWilliams.
Fish. Okay.
Obviously not the only animal name.
Is that like a nickname? Is his name Fisher? Or his first name is Fish?
Let's check it out.
What you gonna name the boy, Cletus? Well, he was born while fishing. Think I name him Fish.
Oh, no. His name is Adarius McWilliams.
Oh, yeah, so Fish is a nickname.
No, his name is Fish McWilliams.
It's not.
The next one is Octavius Oxendied. Yeah.
Octavius Oxendied.
Yep.
He sounds like a supervillain. It's me, Octavius Oxendied.
Yikes. And then from Boston College, Shitta Silla. Shitta Silla.
Hey, yo, Titsworth and Shitta They need to band together and stop the bullying. Is what they
Yikes.
need to do, because I already know they joined football for a reason.
Yikes.
This was a way out.
Gross.
This is a way out of the torment. Titsworth and Shitta. Okay.
Shittah. Linebackers. We've got Chief Borders from Nebraska. We've got Memorable Factor from Duke. And then we've got Pig Cage from UTSA. Pig Cage. Let's see if that's his real name. Oh, he's black. I'm actually surprised by that. I'm not seeing any different names. His name is Pig Cage.
Christ.
Oh, no, his name is Quentin Cage.
Thank you. Some of these have to be nicknames.
No, bro. His name is Pig Cage.
No, they have to be.
All right, let's move on to DBs. Mobility.
Ooh.
Mobility.
Very, very clever.
For a DB, yeah, it works. Obviously, Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Very good one.
Storm Duck from Louisville. And then Major Burns. Being a DB named Major Burns is crazy. That is wild. Oh, that wasn't even the last one. Dude Person. Dude Person. Nope, his name is Rontavious Person. Rontavious Dude Person.
These are all nicknames.
No, Rowdy Beers is legit.
No, these are all nicknames.
Rowdy Beers is legit. All right, let's see. And then the last one is a punter. So obviously there's not too many crazy names. Max von Marburg from Syracuse. And then that's it.
Well, this is the off season, folks. Good thing that we only have about 7 weeks until the season starts.
Nah, bro, I'm trying to see what Pig Cage and Parker Titsworth do this year.
Parker Titsworth. Hey, Titsworth! You see your tits!
I got to see if that's how you pronounce Shittah from Boston College.
You actually don't need to see that at all.
I do.
So, tell us what you thought about everything we discussed here today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back next week for another House Divided episode.
Absolutely. And make sure you check out our previous video where we discussed the fact that Ohio State is going undefeated this year. Absolutely. And obviously, make sure you subscribe. And we like to do this every week, so make sure you're here next week.
Just make sure you have my 20.
Nah, bro. Shittah. Let's see. Oh my gosh, the stupid ads. Sheeta.
Still sounds like Sheeta to me, but
Sheeta just tip drill intercept.
See, this one has his name spelled without an H at the end. So it's literally spelled Shitta. Shitta.